Mr. William, 65 years old. An older man who values tradition and firmly believes in old ways. Emma, 28 years old. A young, dynamic woman, full of energy and creativity. Often criticized by Mr. William for her ideas. Mr. William was an older man who'd lived his entire life upholding traditional values. He firmly believed that only things that had stood the test of time were worth respecting. Anything new or different was considered shallow or impractical. He often looked down on young people, believing they lacked patience and seriousness. Whenever he encountered a new idea from the younger generation, he would shake his head and say, "Those are just dreams. They'll never amount to anything." The story begins when Emma, a young woman in the company, decides to pitch a new idea. Emma had been working at the company for several years, and she had come up with a creative idea: creating an online platform to help consumers easily connect with local service providers. This idea was completely different from the company's traditional approach, but Emma believed it could bring great benefits to everyone. When she presented the idea to Mr. William, her older manager, he immediately reacted with skepticism and disdain. "Do you really think this platform will help the company? People don't have time to browse websites for services. These are just frivolous ideas from young people who don't understand reality. You think technology can change everything," he said. Emma felt hurt, but refused to give up. She tried to convince Mr. William to test the project on a small scale, to see how consumers would respond. "Just a small experiment. If it doesn't work, we'll stop," she said. But Mr. William remained adamant, believing she was wasting time. The conflict escalates when the company faces a significant challenge. One day the company found itself in a crisis, when a competitor launched a breakthrough product that quickly shifted market trends. The company had no choice but to rethink its strategy and adapt to the new demands of customers. Emma, determined to push forward, decided to implement her online platform project even without Mr. Williams' support. She worked late into the night, fine-tuning the plan, and began rolling out the experiment. The results were astounding. The platform she developed received positive feedback from users, and the company's revenue began to grow rapidly. That day, Mr. William realized something important. When he saw the success of the project, he couldn't deny the change Emma had brought to the company. What he had once dismissed as impossible was now the key to the company's survival and growth. He stood still, reflecting on the things he had said earlier, and how he had looked down on the new ideas without giving them a chance. One afternoon, Mr. William decided to speak to Emma. "Emma, I want to apologize," he began, his voice somewhat unfamiliar with this admission. "I was wrong. I thought your ideas were just dreams, but now I see I was wrong. You have a great vision, and I'm proud of how you've changed this company." Emma, a bit surprised, but undeniably pleased, smiled and replied, "Thank you, Mr. William. I know you have a different perspective on work, and I understand that change is never easy. But sometimes, we just need to try a little, and we can discover new things we never thought possible." Over time, Mr. William learned an important lesson about not judging others based on differences in age or perspective. He realized that every generation has its own valuable contributions, and that combining the wisdom of the older generation with the creativity of the younger generation creates a brighter future. From then on, Mr. William began to view new ideas not as replacements for old values, but as additions that enriched what had already been built. Only by opening our minds and embracing change can we grow and move forward.